Welcome to the Silhouettes of Success podcast with your host, successful entrepreneur, broker, and business mentor, Amber Weitzer. Because success comes in all shapes, sizes, and styles, the Silhouettes of Success podcast is shining the light on industrious women with a collection of curated conversations of intentional inspiration designed to inspire your heart, ignite your mind, feed your soul, and gift you with actionable insights directly from inspirational, everyday women who've shown tenacity, grit, and grace, having taken on the challenges in their lives and business and won. Remarkable, down-to-earth, and relatable, Amber and her guests will share with you uplifting and extraordinary real-life success stories, motivational ideas that just might help spark something within you. With the deepest desire to serve you, help you grow so you can begin to shine the light that will illuminate your very own silhouette of success. So, let's get to it.
Hello and welcome to the Amber Weitzer podcast, Silhouettes of Success. Our VIP featured guest is a dynamic and inspirational motivational speaker, author, and philanthropist who delivers high-energy keynote presentations. She embarked on a transformative personal journey that led wholeheartedly into embracing middle age, being fearless in defining and achieving her own successes, and loving the life she created for herself. She has graced the stages of significant events and conferences. She is the wife of lead singer and bass player Wayne Nelson of Little River Band. She can be found home entertaining, sharing her love of food and wine, painting, and creating various forms of art. Silhouettes, let's welcome Rhonda Nelson to the show. Hello, Rhonda.
Hi, how are you? It's so great to be here.
I am elated to visit with you selfishly. I'm so excited. We get this one-on-one time, as I mentioned before we even turned on the magic record button. But I'm so excited to let you share with our audience the shaping of your silhouette of success story and journey. So once again, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, milady, let's just kick it off and have you share the early shapings of your background with the audience.
Well, I have reinvented myself a number of times through the years. Prior to meeting my husband about 25 years ago, I had taken over my father's business, and I knew it wasn't what I wanted to do, but a tragic accident put me into that role. And so I continued to do it because I was good at it and I knew the business. But I just it wasn't what was in my heart. So fast forward, I meet my husband, and then we go down this path of doing many different things. We owned a historic inn, restaurant, and wedding facility. I've had my real estate license in multiple states. I've helped him with the admin side of Little River Band. And then I wrote a book, and that's what really propelled and sort of started my speaking career. And then once COVID happened, everything shut down. And that was an interesting time for me, for sure.
Well, we want to dive into all of that. So we're going to go into that, but let's start a little closer to home. So with all you have going on, your speaking engagements, and definitely I want to talk about the book and all of those other things that you talked about here, the alarm clock goes off and your business or work or life day begins. What does a day in the life look like? Are you structured? Do you have routine? Does that work for you? Best practices? Or are you very spontaneous and just kind of take it how it comes?
It's a mixture of both, really, because Wayne is home during the week, so that kind of changes things. But the basics stay the same. I wake up really early. I love, love, love sunrise. Like, it is one of my favorite times. And it's one of the times that I just sit and I'm in my quiet time. Either I'm reading my devotions or I meditate. And I also use some of that early morning time to do my workout. And I have a very kind of structured thing that I do, nothing hard and nothing fancy, but it's something that I just feel like keeps me it just keeps me in check, and it's good for my health. It's good for my mind. And then after that is breakfast. And then the day, I could either have a really structured day after that, or it could be one of those crazy, chaotic, oh, go here, do this, do that kind of day. So the first part is very structured. The second part of the day, not so much. It kind of depends on what's going on.
It's interesting. I can relate to that and I can see that just in, knowing you, but also based on what you've shared your journey, because you've got the business aspect in there with running businesses and having, real estate experience and your licenses and all running the inn but yet you're also creative. So you do need a little bit of, the spontaneity in there too. Oh, goodness gracious. You have such a great story. I want you to share. You are a motivational speaker. What propelled you or influenced you as you thought about or embarked on that segment of your journey to really share yourself with the audiences?
It started back in 2016. I wanted to write a book about just what mine and Wayne's life is like, sort of pull back the curtain on life on the road and being associated with, a international and national touring band member's life. I wrote the book, and then I realized we started to do small venues, small theaters, and we would do songs and stories from the road. And I would really, based on the demographic of the band, it's kind of a middle-aged demographic. And women would come up to me after we would do those events, and either they would say, I some of the stories that I told them really touched them, or the music really means so much to them, and they attach it to something in their life, and that I had, just sparked a beautiful memory for them. And so that happened for a while. And then, of course, COVID happened. And I have to say, COVID was a love hate thing for me. And I know that sounds weird to put COVID and love together, but here's why. COVID obviously shut down all of my engagements, and it shut us all down. And the bad side of that was I really got into my own head, and I lost a lot of self-confidence, and I knew I wanted to pivot and do something more with what I'd already started pre-COVID, but I wasn't quite sure. What it also did for me, though, was it gave me time to focus on my art, my painting, and it also allowed me to see that I'm so much more than just the wife of Wayne Nelson of Little River Band. I feel there's a real missing link in that. I think we middle-aged women tend to get forgotten, and we're in a pivotal point in our life. And I just wanted to speak to people about loving the life that you live in midlife, because I think it's a hard stage. Sometimes we've been caregivers, we've been moms. In my case, wife of, I was always known as that. And then when those things pivot, and not that I'm not still the wife of, don't get me wrong on that, but when your children fly the nest, maybe you're caregivers with your parents or a parent, and they're gone, and you're standing there like, now what? And so that was where COVID really gave me that time to kind of put all of that together and really see the path that I wanted to go on. And that's where we've ended up today.
Share, or can you think of maybe one of your most cherished speaking engagements or encounters? You've talked about how some of them came up and talked to you about triggering or, bringing back a special memory. But after one of your engagements, can you think of something that was very impactful for you, or somebody came up to you? What would be a favorite memory for you?
Yeah. So it is kind of tied in together with LRB's music, because in some of the events we would, in Songs and Stories from the Road, we would end the event with a song called There's a Bus Leaving.
Mm.
And it's really about someone getting on the bus and then not coming back. And I had someone come up to me and say, sorry, I'm getting a little teary.
Mhm.
I have been so lost since I lost my child. And here I am. I feel so worthless and I'm middle aged and I feel like no one wants me in a work position and I don't know what to do with my life. And she said, your enthusiasm and your spark and your joy really just put some fire in my soul. And I feel like I can climb out of my hole.
Oh my. That's beyond words.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're
It's pretty,
yeah.
you don't realize what an effect you can have on a person. And I
Mhm.
think that's why, we always hear just smile at someone or a simple hello. You have no idea what that can do for someone. Just a simple little act. And I'll tell you, I did an event several weeks ago. I heard 4 stories of people that had insanely tragic things happen in their life and they are blossoming. And so you just don't know, you just don't know someone's story.
And as you say, and especially, post COVID, as we're still, you still, there's such an event that touched everybody,
Right.
period, across
Right.
the board, no matter what, and wherever they are. But like you say, something that hopefully was taken away from that was learning to have a little bit more grace with
Absolutely.
each other and that smile. And you're right, we've all grown up hearing that. Just, a smile can change someone's day or change someone's life. But the monumental impact that you're having by sharing your story and your encouragement, you're right, that middle age segment is kind of, it's a milestone
Yeah.
phase of our life in our
Right.
journeys, especially as women.
Exactly. Yeah. I agree. And look, we all know Hollywood, when you're 30, you're old in Hollywood. And in the music business, oh, you can't get out there and do that or you won't draw the right crowd and so it's always been in those areas. It's always middle-aged women have always struggled. But I think as a whole, and I think now too, it's even more relevant because I think we are much younger than our parents' generation was when they were this age. You
Yes.
know, I don't mean numerically younger. I just mean in our minds, in our bodies, and whatnot. And so I think back to the folks that I knew were in their 50s and 60s when I was little, and I think about myself and other friends that I have. I even have a couple of girlfriends that are in their early 70s, and you would never know it. And so I think it's harder now.
hmm When we talk through sharing best practices and thinking a little bit on this, do you get stuck when you are trying to reach a goal or barrier or a dream or just an accomplishment that you've got on your, on your notes or on your inspiration wall? Do you have anything that works for you to kind of break through that barrier?
I get stuck a lot. um,
Oh, thank you for saying that.
yeah, no, I really do. Um,
Yeah.
because I'm probably my own worst enemy at that. But I heard this quite a while back and it's resonated with me, and it's what I go by, and it's what I share with other people. Every choice I make is inspired from love.
Mm,
And that really to me is what I lean on. I just feel like if I go into something, or if I'm looking to kind of figure out what the next thing is, I just figure if I just have a lot of love and grace and peace in my heart, that then I can make clear choices. Instead of letting so many voices or noise in my head try to guide me, either, and mostly that's negative. You know what I mean? We always get inside our own heads. And so if I just open my heart, open my mind with love and peace, then I feel so much freer making the decisions that I need to make.
That's invaluable. I've not heard that, and I love that.
It's a simple but powerful statement.
Yes. Oh, agree. That's key. Oh my gosh, that's going to be up. That's going to be posted somewhere prominently. Thinking through your business side of things, and as a businesswoman, and I know the philanthropy is important, and all of those things that go into the business side or being an independent and a creative, where do you turn to for support?
My biggest cheerleader is my husband. The day I told him I wanted us to buy an inn, he was like, "Okay, you want to do this? You want to run an inn?" And I said to him, "I don't want I'm not talking about 4 bedrooms in our house. I want an inn." So we ended up with 20 rooms, 23 acres, a restaurant, a wedding facility, and 3 wedding gardens, and et cetera, et cetera. When I told him I wanted to write a book, he said, "What do you want me to do to help you?" And there is really nothing that I say in the way of a dream or a goal that he is not there behind me with his pom poms cheering me on and encouraging me to do it, as opposed to saying, "Oh, I don't think you can do that," or "Why do you want to do that?" He's never done that. So I am forever grateful to him for being that way with me, because I know that I can get into my own head and say, for instance, when I wanted to pick my paintbrush back up, for the longest time, I would say to myself, "Why do you want to do that? Nobody wants to see your paintings. Nobody cares. You're not good enough." And I mentioned it to him after a few weeks of that running through my head. And he said, he went to his studio and he brought out something that I didn't even know he had saved. He saved the first painting I ever did. And he said, "This is why you need to keep doing it, because you
Mm,
love it. It's a passion for you. And just keep doing it." So I would say that he is absolutely my number one biggest support system.
just keep doing it, Rhonda.
Yes, just keep doing it.
What a blessing. What a blessing he is. And to have that in your world.
Yeah,
Mm,
I
yeah.
truly feel I feel like our experiences prior to meeting one another prepared us to be together,
Mm.
and there's just this wonderful connection, and I could never ask for someone more perfect for me. And he is my biggest supporter and my biggest cheerleader.
Great team. Great team. Because I I know you're the same way. So also thinking through some of those wonderful things that you shared with us, writing a book. Tell us the title of your book.
So the book is called A Different Life, and it really is about my life, his life, how we came together, life on the road. It's a hardcover book, and you can find it on my website. We interspersed in the book are also lots and lots of photos, um, and also a lot of recipes that are related to the chapters, which I know that sounds really weird. It's truly a coffee table book. It's a book you can read, but it's also a beautiful coffee table book, and I am super proud of it. I worked really hard to from inception to coming off the press was 11 months and 2 weeks, and designed the whole thing myself. I did work with, um, you know, people who helped do the graphics and whatever once I gave them my ideas. But everything about it was in my head and I made it come to fruition. So I'm really proud of it. And it was a great way to just share what life is really like when you're on the road, because it is not always glamorous. As a matter of fact, it's far from glamorous being on the road. And there's a lot of connections you make when you're on the road. There's a lot of funny stories that happen when you're on the road. So it was fun. It was a great project.
I'm tickled because the velvet curtain, and you mentioned pulling the curtain back and taking a look. So clearly there was, your creative thought into that. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
And that you've got the recipes in there and talking about different, wineries and all these fun things too. So we will make sure and include that link to your site in the show notes. So the audience,
Awesome.
you are
Thank
just
you.
one click away so they can grab that book.
Thank you.
Yeah, if they don't already. Talking through the amazing accomplishments and milestones, we've talked about that. When do you feel your greatest sense of satisfaction?
Just exactly what I shared with you earlier. When I've shared my story and, my viewpoints about midlife and going through midlife with love and grace and loving yourself and loving the life that you live, just like when that person came up to me, that's when I know if I only touch one person every time I speak, I feel like it's a 100% success. And just knowing that I make a difference in someone's life. But my love language is to give gifts. And to me, that doesn't equate to just physical gifts. It's also the gift of what I can give, as far as if someone can take something positive away from what I share, then, I feel so blessed to have done that. And even sitting here talking with you as I say it, it makes me smile because I just love to give something wonderful to people.
Well, as you just said that, I was sitting here smiling. You sharing your story is warming my heart. And I just am visualizing you in these environments where you're having these conversations. And yes, on this stage, and in this, whether it's an event or something, I can see you on stage. But then I stop and just think, I can see you on the side of the stage just with somebody coming up to you one on one. So that's just the picture I was painting in my head listening to you share this.
I think the picture's still on my website. I'm kneeling down on the stage and I'm talking to two women, and I remember that conversation very clearly. But that captures exactly what makes my heart happy. When I speak to someone and they tell me whatever I've said has made a difference to them, and that's when I feel great. Like when I complete a painting and I feel like it's done and I'm happy with it, that makes me happy, but that I don't feel like that's success. And even if I sell a painting, I don't feel like that's success to me because I don't know. It's just a weird thing I have, but I do feel that way when I speak.
Well, because you are fulfilling, and you just have the heart for service. And as you say, everything that you've, probably gone through on your journey and your journeys collectively have brought you to where you're able to give these precious gifts. And it's just your presence. So, oh, my lady. All right, we've got to take a quick break to hear from this episode's sponsor, and we'll be right back. I personally have been investing with Ashcroft Capital for about 5 years. I know the co-founder, Joe Fairless, pretty darn well. He's my brother, so I can personally vouch for him and how he approaches things. I like investing with Ashcroft because of the monthly cash flow. They buy apartment buildings, improve them, and then sell them. It's a good business to be in, and I'm glad to passively invest with them. You can learn more at ashcroftcapital.com. That's ASHCROFT capital.com. All right, Rhonda, we are back. And while I don't want to let you go, I am respectful of the time because I know you've got things to do.
We could talk forever.
I know. I'm just, yes. Yes, we could. You warm the heart. And I think that's just where I'm sticking right now with this, because you've just warmed my heart. So
Oh, thank you.
I'm just honored. Speaking about, we were talking about your book and the paintings, and, we love to share best practices, which you've done so much of, but also resources that might help inspire and uplift us. And we're definitely sharing your website so folks can go check everything out and attend something that you're doing and purchase your book. And do you have any other resources that you have as favorites, whether it's on your bookshelf or something that you turn to? Sometimes, I tease it's to get us through the day or to get us over that next barrier that we're kind of stuck in.
I do. There's a book that I absolutely love. It's called Soul Full, and that's the word soul and then the word full. It's written by Farrell Mason, and it's a weekly devotional that just really nourishes your mind, your heart, your spirit. And I had the opportunity to hear Farrell talk about her book, and I was just so blown away by it. But if I could just really quickly, what she says in the introduction is just so on point. And this book is just so full of hope and beauty, and it's so uplifting. But she says that the book came to life when she had a particular question nudging her for the answer, which was, am I living the life I want to live? And she said the answer was really only sometimes. And so she said she realized that she looked at life on the premise that there would always be more time. And she said now she realizes that how short our time here on earth is. And she wanted to be more intentional about how she lives her life with hope and with love and with grace. I said it's a weekly devotional, but listen, I couldn't put it down. And then I just keep referring back to it in my quiet time. And it's just an amazing book. And it's one of those books that will always be by my side because you always need love, you always need grace. And it's just such an uplifting, inspirational book.
Well, grateful for that recommendation. So we will pull that and also include that. What a ringing endorsement, milady. Thank you for that. I'm excited to pick that up. And it's interesting. It's a perfect segue because something we also share with our audience is intentional inspiration and keeping that promise. Do you have a piece of key go-to advice that you'd like to share?
Well, besides the one I already did about every choice I make is inspired from love, never say never. And when is now. Don't just keep saying, I will do XYZ when whatever, fill in the blank. When is now.
Mm.
And I think it's important for all of us to don't give up, do what you love, do what you're passionate about, and stop putting it off.
Wrapped it up with a bow. I mean, if that wasn't both relatable, profound, and practical that everyone can apply as of now, hearing those words from you, I don't know what is. So, oh, my lady, guilty pleasure connecting with you. Thank you. Thank you for this time. As we begin to wrap up, it is all about you. And so the stage is completely yours. Where can our audience go to find and connect with you on your socials and or support you in your continued success?
So everything can be found on my website, which is Rhonda, RHONDA, B Nelson.com. And Facebook and Instagram is the same, Rhonda B. Nelson. All information, the book, everything is there. Where I'll be speaking will be on the website. I'm at this point, I'm kind of coasting through the end of the year. I'll ramp back up at the beginning of next year. And I just want to say to everyone, no matter how big or how small your goals or your dreams and aspirations are, they are meaningful. They mean something to you, and don't put them aside. Go for them 100%. It's just life is short, And there's no time like the present to do something that you love.
Well, now you have tears in my eyes with
Aw.
your words. Oh, it has been magical, Rhonda. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your time and your silhouette of success story with us. You are a genuine light and inspiration. So thank you, my lady.
Thank you so much, Amber. This has been such a pleasure and such a joy.
All right, my lady. Until next time, thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Silhouettes of Success podcast. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on all the new episodes. We are here for you and with you. We encourage you to share this podcast on all your socials and pass on the light to help illuminate another silhouette of success. To find out the latest ways to inspire your heart, ignite your mind, and gain actionable insights, subscribe at thesilhouettesofsuccess.com or connect with us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. We're grateful that you've tuned in. Remember, you are exactly where you need to be, right here with us. This is the Amber Weitzer podcast, Silhouettes of Success.